All right, everyone, welcome to the Brad and Kyle channel, and in this video we're going to be talking about that stupid invisible lane pattern, and we're going to give you guys some tips and share some details on them. Stay tuned. All right, so in the game of bowling, probably the biggest challenge, would you say it's the biggest challenge? What's harder, this stupid oil condition or like the physical game nonsense?
Depends on the day.
It just depends on the day.
It depends on the day.
All right, so we're talking about lane patterns. Now, we're talking about specifically challenging lane patterns, and we have one laid out for us right here that we're gonna throw some shots on first. But Kyle, real quick, some first tips on the oil pattern. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, for one, mastering lane patterns takes a lot of experience.
Well, you can't study, like you can't just read a sheet. I mean, there are lane graphs, but in order to really know what the oil is doing, you got to bowl and bowl and bowl and fail and bowl and fail, and then you finally learn it, you know?
Yeah, you have to experience it for yourself and try different things before you can get an idea. And I don't think anyone's ever a master because it's always different. There are lane graphs that sometimes show you what the pattern is before you're bowling on, but I know myself and a lot of PBA bowlers, you I think fall in this category too, we don't even read the lane graph at times.
I haven't looked at one in 3 years.
Yeah. Before PBA tournament, a lot of guys don't read the lane graph because what the lane graph tells you should happen, what should happen, and what's actually going to happen most of the time are two different things.
And the reason for that is every single bowling center you bowl in, the one we're in here, the one you're in, wherever you are, it's different. The topography is different. The lane beds themselves are made out of different materials sometimes. I mean, everything's different. The oil that the bowling alley uses could be a different oil than another bowling alley. A lot of variables change.
Absolutely. So we have a pattern behind us here. We know what it is, but for the sake of the video, we're going to go through our process pretending like we have no idea.
Yeah, okay. So Kyle's going to throw some shots, and then we're going to talk you through it. Okay, Kyle, so first shot's out the gate. You're just trying to get an idea of what this pattern's doing.
Yeah, we're just warming up here.
Just warming up here.
And generally, this shot is going to be farther right than I like to play just to see what's out there.
We generally stand pretty far right, close to the right gutter, just to get a general idea of what the oil's doing. All right, so now you've thrown 2 shots in similar places. What are you seeing?
Well, the first 2 shots out the gate are always going to be a little bit further right. Yeah. So I want to know if there's friction out there and how much. If the ball sails on me.
Friction meaning?
No oil, less oil. The ball is hooking, picking up. So we saw that ball hooked, went through the face. We're playing around 10, a little outside of 10. So I know, okay, to the right, there's hook. I need to be left of that. I need to keep edging left.
Yes, and in general, on house shots, there's more oil in the middle of the lane than there is on the outside of the lane. And they like that because if you miss in, you want it to slide, and if you miss out, you want it to hook. Well, same thing in a way with sport shots as well. There's still more oil in the middle, just not as much. It's just not going to give you as much hang as a house shot. So even on hard shots, he's getting too much hook out to the right, so he's going to move into more oil to see if he can get more slide.
And you know what's funny when we talk about like mastering a pattern? You know, there was too much friction there, so I'm going to move left a little bit. Now, if my ball would have sailed, I still would move left.
You still would move left.
It's funny, the completely two
Why
different
is that?
Because when there's too much hook, we got to move left to find oil. And when there's no hook, for a different reason, we got to get our ball closer to the head pin. So it's just funny how we talk about it. It doesn't make sense logically sometimes, but there is a reason why we do what we do.
Yeah, and you get closer to the head pin when there's no hook, because if your ball is getting out there and it's not hooking, well, you don't want to play there. That's the last place you want to play. So you move everything in.
So we don't have a reset button.
So we're doing that. Now there's all different kinds of patterns, links. We're just talking about just in general the process that we go through, and then spitting out some details on what we're actually bowling.
Yeah, so if I'm going to throw another shot here, I know where I was standing before hooked too much, so I'm just going to move like 4 and 4 left of that.
4 and 4 meaning 4 with his feet and 4 with his eyes. So it's like a parallel movement.
Yeah, so this shot's going to be around like 13 or so to 6, 7, 8, wherever it's going to go, and see if it overhooks.
Okay, so more oil. and just as much hook. How about that?
Yeah, still not really loose. Probably not a great shot, but it hooked a lot. I don't really feel like I have any hold, so now I'm gonna adjust my angle and probably start moving my feet more left and keeping my eyes there because I need to create more angle too.
Okay, so before he moved a 4 and 4 with a parallel, and it still hooked too much, meaning the angle was the same as he moved left. Now he's only going to move his feet and not his target, which increases the angle of the ball, which makes it go farther away from the head pin.
Yeah, so far I'm thinking, okay, this pattern's pretty dry. It's hooking quite a bit. So we got to create an angle, and I don't want to move too far left.
More angle. And then now that was better. I mean, forget the lead. We're just talking ball motion. That was better.
That was a lot better.
Wasn't quite enough of a move.
Right.
But now we're in the right ballpark.
Yeah, I'm getting there. So I know that that was the closest shot that I had to the pocket. So now we're gonna make probably another big move off of that. If I have 410, that's another 4-board move. So I'm gonna move everything now. Try to keep a similar angle, feeding it out to the right, but move everything 4 and 4 left.
And I would say in general, most of you out there, you're probably bowling on patterns just like this where there's probably a little bit too much hook for a couple reasons. The balls nowadays are really strong and they hook a lot, and oil's expensive. So most of us bowl on where there's hook. So this is a pretty general move left, kind of do that.
Yep, so we're gonna try to feed it again.
That was farther left.
Dang.
And that one was grabby. Now this is cool that we're kind of seeing, you know, some struggle or just some guessing because, hey, it's bowling. This is what happens. Now, you move farther left. It looked grabby. Was it grabby?
Yeah, a little grabby. Was it grabby?
But still.
Rhetorical question.
It doesn't matter. We've gotten hook, 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 hook so far. And so this is just us deciphering what exactly we need to do on this oil pattern. The ball he's using is probably a hair too strong.
Yeah.
But hey, you're a pro. You should be able to adjust.
You should. So
okay, so we're just going to keep going.
keep moving left, which that's perfectly fine for me. So now we're in practice. This is like my 6th shot probably. Thinking, oh, there's just hook. I'm just going to keep bouncing. So now this is probably another 5 left.
Still too much hook.
Yeah, that's way too much hook.
Okay, so now we're in a position where it's probably the ball. I mean, when you go through 4 or 5 different like things or different changes that you make and you're still getting the same result, that ball's got to go. It's part of the game nowadays. The bowling ball is a very important part. But just to keep going on the lane pattern, he's a guy that likes to hook it. He's got a lot of hand. Sometimes you can just ramp up the ball speed. And maybe that's a better idea. So let's give one like that. Just give it the old heater, a little 2 mile an hour. A lot of you guys like to throw it harder out there. Kyle does not, so this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, no kidding. So do you want me to play a little further left still and just keep my ball speed up?
Whatever. However you feel you need to strike.
There we go.
So still too much hook. Again, it's interesting. He's going through all these different ways of throwing the ball, and it's still hooking.
I know. I feel like this is meant to strike, but showing that we strike every time, it's just not the case. So,
it is. I know. I'm liking that you're struggling right now because then we can really kind of.
Because that's the whole point, right?
Try and figure out. I mean, if you're out there in league and you're kind of shooting 190, struggling, trying to figure it out, well, we're doing the same thing, obviously.
Okay.
So it exists everywhere.
Now I know, and this is this house too, there's a lot of friction, 41-foot pattern. I'm moving way left, and another 4-board jump. We're going to be around 21, 22 at the arrows.
This one's the Sherman special.
Yeah, I'm throwing a different ball.
This man can't strike.
One moment, please.
All right, so for the sake of the video, Kyle's going to change balls, but I'm going to throw his ball with his thumb. And I'm throwing 1 strike, 1 shot. Can't beat it.
Damn. He's going to put me on the spot like that?
Yeah, Norm Duke it.
All right, well, someone has a lot more hand than the other player.
Yeah, he likes that was lucky, by the way.
If I see that, I'm going to the shiny ASIM, trusty UFO alert, and let's see if it gets down the lane.
And sometimes deciphering a lane pattern correctly, you got to go through bowling balls. So this is what we're doing. He's 0 for 9. That's a clear sign to go to a cleaner bowling ball. There we go.
So now this pattern all of a sudden goes from can't get the ball down the lane to okay, I like exactly what
That's important. You're 0 for 9 with one ball. You're 1 for 1 with another ball. We're trying to talk about the pattern, and what really made the difference was the bowling ball. So that's an important aspect. Is like even if you're trying to figure out the pattern, you got to go through bowling balls if you're really going to know which ball and where you should play.
Yeah, I think a spot where I see a lot of amateurs get upset with themselves or struggle or whatnot is, say they threw those first 8 shots that I just threw. A big thing that I see a lot of people say is, I'm throwing it terrible. I can't throw a good shot. Well, no, the ball and the lane pattern are not matching up, which it doesn't matter usually how good you're throwing it. You can't out-bowl bad ball reactions. So just like me, I go from having error with one ball, can't get it down the lane, to throw another one, and it does exactly what I wanted to see.
And it's also a couple of the shots
change.
with the other one were grabby, and in his head he might think like, oh, I'm throwing it bad because I grabbed those. Well, you're not comfortable with the ball you're throwing, and if the ball's not giving you the right reaction and you're not comfortable with it, you're not going to throw good shots. So before you really blame yourself on something that's going on, you got to give yourself other options to see if it can give you something more.
Alright guys, thanks for watching this video on this invisible lane pattern that gives us so much trouble. We gave you a little run through of how we like to first get comfortable with the lane pattern, see where the hook is, see where the push is, but as you saw, there's a lot of variables that go into adjusting to the lane pattern. Bowling ball in this case was huge, so when you're trying to decipher what you should do on the lane patterns, a lot of things, having the right ball in your hand is a big one.
Yeah, and make sure you're going through the trial and errors before you really put yourself in that position of me, why me, I'm not doing this well. You know, make sure you give yourself as many options as possible, try different things, throw it harder, hook it, do all those things. And then you'll eventually, after trial and error, you'll start to figure out, oh, this works. Oh, I like to do this. Oh, and this works. So anyway, thanks for guys for watching the video on the oil pattern. Hopefully it helps you guys. If you guys want more coaching, make sure you check out our link in the description, the Brad and Kyle membership with our great coach Daniel Puerto. It's a great place to be if you guys are looking for more coaching. Click the link below. Thank you for watching the video. Have a good one.